guys, this is John from Day One Personal Training, and today we're going to go over a cool little technique that I like to use in my training and with my clients to help better neck mobility. In this case, it's going to be neck glide or neck sway. Okay. Now, the movement itself for a lot of people is challenging, not only because of a limit in range of motion, but in this particular movement, it tends to be, at least from my experience with a lot of my clients, a lot of sensory motor amnesia. So the firing pattern, the firing just isn't there properly for this movement. And when you cue it in, or when you try to do it maybe on your own at home, a side to side or left to right movement winds up being a rotation or a yaw. A lot of times we'll throw in some tilting or pitching backwards, left and right. And while those movements themselves are not bad, it's not the movement that we're looking for in this instance. Okay, so there's a lot of different things we can do to help reintegrate that firing pattern. You can just sit there and do your mobility side to side, or as opposed to an open chain exercise, we can close the chain and use implements such as the ball or the wall and try to repattern this movement. So in my case, a lot of times what I like to do with my clients is take it to the ground and use a very simple and cheap tool or implement that most people have. So what we're going to use is the paper plate. Okay. Now, the choice of paper plate is going to differ sometimes person to person. Choose one that's big enough for your head. Okay. Also, the bottom surface of the paper plate, some are a little bit rougher, some are a little bit smoother. Choose the smoothest one that you can find. And the surface that you're going to use this on, right now we're on mat, we're going to move to the floor in a second. Linoleum or hardwood work the best for this. It's possible on a mat, it's possible on the carpet, but the friction coefficient is a little bit higher, so it becomes a little bit more challenging. So when you're just starting this off, start on hardwood or linoleum, something smooth. Tile, as long as it's not very blocky tile, isn't really recommended because it's not going to feel too good. So again, hardwood or linoleum, and a nice party size, preferably paper plate. So let's get to it. Okay. So just a couple quick points or landmarks that we're going to go over with the plate exercise on the ground before we get down there and get into it. First one is pressure. Okay, when you're laying on the floor and you have your head on the plate, you want to find the base of your skull. Okay, and you're not looking to rotate. You're going to want to pretend like someone's trying to steal the plate from under you, and you're trying to keep the plate pinned to the ground with the base of your skull. So you're trying to prevent them from snatching it out from underneath your head. So that's the first thing. Second thing is sensation. Okay, doing it wrong and doing it right feels different on the floor because of the sensation of your head moving against the ground, against the plate. So rotating left and right has a very different sensation than gliding across the floor. Okay, so you're going to take note of that. That's the second thing. And the third thing is the audible. Okay, the noise that your head and the plate make when gliding side to side is very smooth, okay, and very sandy. When you rotate or do it incorrectly, and rotation is typically the incorrect pattern for this, you'll hear more of a grinding. It's a very different audible. So you want to take note of that when you're doing the exercises. So onto the ground. Okay, so first thing you want to do is position the plate right underneath the base of your skull. Okay, relax your shoulders, let them fall nice and heavy to the mat. Your whole bottom side is heavy, and we're going to look to move only the neck, okay, and not the rest of the body. So first thing you want to check on is your pressure. Make sure the base of the skull is up against the plate, so if somebody came and tried to pull that plate from underneath you, you're pinning it down with the base of your skull. Okay, now the second thing is the sensation. So looking left and right, which would be incorrect, firstly doesn't move the plate across the floor, but secondly, it'll feel kind of rough on the base of your skull because you're rolling across it, right? Kind of almost like you're doing full rolling on a hardwood floor or linoleum. So it doesn't feel too good. All right, now if we keep, again, the base of our skull in place, pinning the plate to the floor, and try to glide even just a little bit, okay? It feels like we're wiping the floor as opposed to rolling or grinding on the floor. Okay, so that's the second point. Third point in this case is going to be the audible. So, side to side, has a very distinct, smooth, sanding type noise, as opposed to rolling, which firstly isn't as loud, okay, and secondly is a little bit more crunchy or grindy. So we're looking to pin the plate to the mat with the base of our skull so that someone can't come and snatch the plate away. Secondly, we're looking for the smooth sanding sensation, okay, and that smooth sanding sound across the ground. So keep your gaze on one point on the ceiling and only move back and forth as far as is comfortable without moving your shoulders up and down. Okay, now at first you might not move the plate at all, and that's okay. That's a combination of maybe not having enough pressure on the plate, but also not having the range of motion. Depends on how slippery the plate is. If you've got no hair, you're a little bit more prone to slide on the plate without moving the plate, so kind of keep that in mind. Again, one more time, firm pressure at the base of the skull on the plate, side to side glide. You're looking for a smooth sanding sound and sensation as opposed to rolling side to side.